curious how beneficial you think the contact tracing has been for your ball club, as you still have been able to continue to practice through some of the issues that you've had recently with COVID-19.
I think the protocols and the contact tracing provide us a scientific way at looking at anybody that could potentially be affected by coronavirus, and provides some context as to who how we can best make sure we block the chain and cut the chain, keep any cases that happen isolated to those people. So I think it's been really good. Dr. Gritter, Eddie Levins, Sean Padden, all the people here, I think, do a great job.
All right, let's go to Steve Reed and then Steve in Toronto.
Hey, Matt, just wonder if you can give us the weekly update on Christian McCaffrey. There was a report out there that said he wouldn't be playing this week. Could you tell us for sure what you think from that, from Christian's angle right now? Do you know?
Yeah, as of I don't think he'll be available as of right now. I mean, if something changed, but he didn't practice today, so I'm not anticipating him playing.
Coach, Saints week this week, and this has been a pretty intense rivalry over the past decade or so. I want to go back to when you were a player at Penn State and you had to play Pitt, or if you were on the Giants and they were playing the Eagles. How exactly what goes into a big rivalry game, and is there really any utility in reminding players, hey, this team doesn't like you, you don't like them?
I don't subscribe to that very much. I think sometimes, in fact, emotion gets the better of you. Guys end up playing outside themselves and doing those types of things. Normally if there's some sort of a rivalry, you hear about it so much that's reinforced. I'm just trying to get our guys just to play really good football this week versus a really good team. So I'm sure, as our guys hear things, different things go through their mind. But at the end of the day, I want them to lock in on what we're doing and the great team that they're playing against.
All right, let's go to Mike Solarte and then David Newton.
Thanks, Preston. Coach, good to see you again. With Joey being on COVID, where are you at with kicker opportunities for this weekend? I know that Joey Charlton's got an opportunity to kick if needed, but that may not be option one. So can you update us on that?
Yeah, we have a couple things lined up as possibilities. We're just gonna kind of wait through Friday and monitor it and see what the best option is. So it's just at this point, I'm not sure which direction we'll go. We'll just monitor the situation and see see the best available option.
If I could just follow up, based on the way I understand the COVID, and I know that you can't talk specifically about certain things, but it seems like there's a chance that Joey could actually be active this week.
Yeah, like that's what I said. We're gonna monitor it and see what happens.
Thank you.
Hey, Matt, David again. We talked Monday about how you wanted to get back to kind of a normal situation. Were you able to go full pads and do everything you wanted to do to get that physicality back? And how big is that for you to get that back?
Yeah, we went. We just got off the field. We were in full pads. We were physical. They had a great outlook. They practiced hard. They practiced physical. I think for us, we just had to get back to our roots a little bit, and I thought they did it well. So the schedule was changed a little bit. As we didn't practice at 11 like we normally do. We practice in the afternoon, as just to give the coaches some time in the morning after having been home for the last 2 days. But our guys were locked in, and hopefully it translates up front this weekend.
All right, let's go to Phil Orban and then Miles Simmons.
Matt, what can you do without a kicker, without your kicker that you're going to have maybe on Sunday there at practice, and how does everybody else kind of work around those challenges?
We got Joey, we got other guys that can do things. We practice. The field goal PAT team, that they're independent of the actual kicker, and kickoff wise, I mean, we can just shoot a jugs machine or have Joey kick, or Joseph kick. So I thought we got a lot of good work done today.
Matt, I know you didn't have Curtis Samuel on Sunday, but they just said he's limited. How is he doing, and how do you anticipate things may shake out with him this week?
You know, I don't know that I can be, I can look into the future too much with Curtis. You know, he got out there and practiced a little bit today, was limited. We'll see how he responds tomorrow and see how he feels, and see. I think to me it'll be a day by day thing to see if he can get ready. I think the thing with Curtis is we're not going to rush him. So if he can go, great. But if not, we have a lot of confidence in the other guys.
Go to Joe Person and then Jason Huber.
Matt, you talked about not being all that big on rivalries, etc. But with the number of Saints people, or former Saints people, I should say, that you have on staff with Joe and on the roster with Teddy and Eli, etc., is this sort of just kind of going to be a natural rivalry, and even, kind of with personal connections? Sean Payton was telling us that a week or two before you got hired, you were there, at their facility, of course, with Baylor.
Yeah, Coach Payton talked to our team at Baylor, did a great job. Jeff Ireland's a great friend of mine. Known him since I was a young assistant coach. He's always been good to me. Almost got hired one time at New Orleans years ago before Coach Payton. I actually quit a job because I thought I had a job at the Saints, and then got called back and said I didn't have it. So had to go back in and beg for my job. But you'd have to ask Joe and Teddy and Eli, how they feel. For me, I think history tells most of our guys that when they're playing someone that they have a really strong connection to, they start doing different things and they don't play their best. So I hope, Joe, that they just lock in on the process and try to have a great week. But you'd have to ask them. For me, I'm doing everything I can each and every week to be the same guy every week. I think that's the key to being a great team, is just being the same team each week in and week out. And I think as we look back to last week, we weren't, I think we got away a little bit from our process for many different reasons. And, I think we're just trying to hone back in on, being who we are.
Hey, Matt, Jason Huber with WFNZ. I'm wondering, and how as much as you're able to talk on it, with Teddy Bridgewater in your offense going against, defense and offense, how much have you guys, we ask about this whenever there's a player going against a former team, but especially with the quarterback, are you able to kind of pick his brain, and especially with the Saints defense that he knows very well and the offense that you guys have similarities there, how much are you able to kind of figure out from Teddy Bridgewater and other guys from New Orleans here?
Well, I think, Joe being there, obviously he has connections to them, having worked there. So he's able to provide some insight. But, you can't take his brain and put it into, the other guy's, body. So I think every coach and player kind of has to go through their process. The defensive staff, they can ask Joe a question here or there, but I think they have to kind of go through their process of watching the tape and studying the opponent and studying who they are right now. And, same thing for our offense. So I think those connections, they probably matter for us. They also matter for them, so, sorry, I'm stuck trying to articulate. It's unique, but it can bog you down if you get too caught up in it. I just think our guys, I really believe football comes down to the team that plays the best. So if we just go out there and do our thing and practice well and play well and have a good plan, I think we always give ourselves a chance to play well on Sunday. And so the connections are there. And I know it's a great storyline. I know, you guys will follow up with those guys, but for me, I just want our guys to go out and do our thing, especially coming off of last week. Last week we didn't play our brand of football. We didn't play our style of football and still had a chance to win versus a very good team. So I want us to get back to, playing our style of football.
All right, let's go to Josh Klein and then Sharon Thornton.
Hey, Matt. Obviously, you guys placed Justin Burris on IR. And Sam Franklin was his direct replacement on Sunday. I was curious what your thoughts were once you've watched the tape on Franklin. And do you plan on him being almost just slotting right into that Justin Burris role, or is there something new that you might do with him?
We have a couple different personnel options. Obviously I don't want tell everybody, say out loud what we're doing 100%, but I have a lot of confidence in Sam. Since day one of training camp, he has flown around and played at a high level, played really well on special teams, played well on defense. And when he got in the game the other day, he got in. I mean, he's a guy who can cover. We've thought about playing him at corner at times. Have a lot of confidence in him. A lot of confidence in Miles. We have Kenny available. Chin's played safety. There's a lot of different avenues that we can go. But when it's Sam's turn to play, I know he'll play well, and he has to play well. That's the thing I make sure, I keep telling our guys, and they all get it. There's a standard of performance. The coaches have to put you in the right position, but you have to go out and execute and play well. And doesn't matter where you got drafted, doesn't matter how many years you've been in the league, you have to go play and play well. And so I have full confidence in Sam.
Hi, Coach Sharon Thorsland. When you look at Drew Brees, I mean, obviously he's been an elite quarterback for so many years. When you look at him, what makes him so good, and why has he been able to keep his career for so long?
I think many things. I think he knows what's going to happen before it happens. He knows, he sees what you're going to do. He knows where the ball should go. He knows the timing. He knows the spacing. He gets it out. He plays so fast as a result. He's a fearless competitor, has elite pocket movement, tremendously accurate. He plays in a great system, and he's a winner. So I think all of those things allow someone like Drew Brees to be the best of the best for such a long time. And, I'll consider it an honor to be on the field with him.
Let's go to Elena Getzenberg and then Skylar Callahan.
Hey, Matt, I was just curious if you could, what happened? When did Keith get hurt during the game? And I guess just any, not frustration, but just, having to put him back on IR after he was back for one game.
Yeah, well, heartbroken for him. I mean, he worked so hard to come back. And it was at the end of the game on a special teams play. And, if you know him, maybe you do. I mean, if you know him, he's such a high character, just really great guy. He got in the game and did some really good things for us. So for him to get hurt, I know it crushed him, it crushed me, but I know he'll be back. He'll be back. But just special teams play towards the end of the game, and hate it for him.
Hey, Matt, you guys activated Kenny Robinson this week, and I know you can't go too much into detail about what you want to do with him, but just kind of what do you expect from him? What do you like about him? And really going back to the draft process, what stuck out about his game in particular?
Well, he's a young guy that's got a lot of potential. He's got tremendous ball skills. You go back and look at his XFL tape. He intercepts the ball, has a good feel for the game. He has learned how to practice. He's a guy that, the more he works off the field on his body, taking care of himself, learning the system, practicing at a high level, the better player he'll be, because he has all the natural gifts and skills. And so he's been patient, I mean, he's been on the practice squad. He gives a great look. He's a competitive guy. He's a tough guy. And, now he'll be out there. So, what exact role he'll play, I'm not sure yet, but I have confidence in him, and I think this is a good. I hate seeing Justin go down, but this is a good opportunity for Kenny to grow and to hopefully take the next step as a player.
All right, guys, let's go to JB Ricks and then Steve Reed.
Hey, Coach, JB Ricks here from Spectrum News One. I just wanted to ask you how you're dealing with the frustration of everything that we're dealing with COVID, and just how this is just an everyday process where everything is changing every day. I know there has to be frustration that you're dealing with this being your first year coaching in the NFL and not expecting these type of obstacles. How are you dealing with this on a daily basis with everything changing the way it does?
Yeah, I just turn on the news at night and I see people, on the front lines battling. I see people, losing family members. I think I said the other day, I just lost one of my closest, dearest uncles to it. So when I think about the fact that, as however many people, 140, 150 people come in here every single day, and we practice, and we're here all day together. And we've been able to manage this to a degree of, a case, a guy on COVID reserve here, a case there. The job that the people have done, I'm so beyond grateful, because, you see when you turn on the news, you see, throughout the world how hard this is to stop. I mean, it's a virus. We're not talking about, we're talking about a virus. So I try to just put it in perspective and context. And, I'm all locked in on today, but, if I ever give myself a chance to take a breath, I think about like next year, and, if we get past this, it not being like this, or maybe later in the season, or whenever it happens, or 2 years from now, and being able to take off my mask and talk to someone face to face, and, go out to dinner, have someone over for a meal. I mean, those are the things that we haven't been able to do as a team. And yet our team has battled. I mean, we're in a place probably where not many people predicted us to be, and that's a credit to the people here. So I try to remain grateful for everything that everyone here is doing to try to help the Panthers and put things in perspective, and try to find the positive. I work from home Monday, I work from home Tuesday. I didn't have someone knocking on my door every 30 seconds, which happens, I can promise you. And I was able to really dial in and watch tape. And so I'm just trying to find the positive. So, but make no mistake, I can't wait for this to be over someday. But I know people working in hospitals and places like that, they feel that way more than I do, and they deserve to.
All right, guys, we only have time for 3 more. So let's go to Steve Reed and then Joe Person, finish with Jonathan Alexander.
Matt, I'm writing something on Robbie Anderson today. What was it that about him that you had passed with him, but that you thought he would fit into this offense? He's kind of had that reputation as that deep threat, but in this offense, it's more of short routes. And what made you think that he could fit into this offense? And do you think he shed that label of being that deep threat?
Yeah. And I mean, this, I want to make sure I say this the right way. I don't pay attention to labels, and I don't pay attention to, those things that are out there, because they're out there for everybody. I tell our team all the time, everyone's going to always try to label you as, hey, you can't run short, you can't throw it deep, you can't play the run. Like, I try to watch the tape. And I think when you see the tape, you see a guy that's, that did all those things, at his last stop. And I knew from college, having him, that he could do all those things. And then I said, you know what? Well, let's have Frizz look at him, because Frizz, has been an NFL player and coach. I mean, he knows what he's looking for, and even though he'd coached him. And then I had Joe look at him, and Joe had no history with him, and the same thing. So I think we have such a good thing here amongst our coaches of, does he fit our system? And then, obviously the pro scouts and Marty looked at him, and they saw from their perspective. So I just think having a lot of different people, not allowing groupthink, you could see evidence that he could do all these things. And just try not to pay attention to, what people say about guys, and instead just watch the tape. And even now, I mean, he last week, he got deep a couple times, he can get down the field, but he's fearless, and he's got great, ball skills. He's got great body control. And so, I felt I had a lot of confidence coming in that he would do just what he's doing.
Matt, I'm sorry for not knowing this, but are you guys able to bring Kirkwood back a second time off IR? And would you expect him and Burris to have a shot?
What was the second part of the question? What I expect? I'm sorry.
Do you think he and Burris both have a chance to play again? And then I have one more very quick one.
Yeah. I hate talking about the rules because it's just not right in front of me. But I don't think we can bring a guy back a second time this year. I don't anticipate Keith coming back, re-breaking that. I think it'll need to heal and have a full off season. Burris certainly. We hope will be back.
And then just quick, did anything you guys are sort of doing contingency wise this week that are kind of unique? I know you've got a guy like Hartsfield. Anything that's just kind of doing your due diligence from a contingency plan?
Yeah, I mean, we have guys like Hartsfield that, we built a team this year because of COVID that had people backing up at different places. So, Hartsfield could always help us. PJ Walker was active last week. He had a good week of practice, but also, he's a guy that can play tailback. So, we try to have all those contingencies out there.
Hey, Matt. Hope you're well. I just have a offbeat question. When you first did your background on Derek Brown, I'm just curious what stood out, even if it was something off the field.
So I watched Derek when he was at Auburn. Just in the middle of the year, I was watching. I can't remember if I was watching Auburn LSU or I think it was Auburn LSU. I was just watching, like on a Thursday of a game week, just watching. I wanted to see what Auburn was doing because they were playing a little of the 3-down stuff that we played, and he was just dominant. So I had his name in my brain. And then we went to the Senior Bowl, and Marty arranged for him to come in and just sit down and meet with us. And, I listened to him talk, and I listened to him talk about his coach, Coach Garner at Auburn, defensive line coach, well-respected man. And I listened to him talk with the reverence with which he talked about his defensive line coach. And I listened to him talk about how much he loved the game. And it wasn't, rehearsed. I didn't feel like it was rehearsed. I listened to him talk about why he came back. But I'll say it again, just listening to him talk about his D-line coach, it was almost like an emotional conviction. It was like, wow, this guy's one of us, man. I mean, he cares about people, and he cares about his coach in such a deep way that I was like, well, you know what? I would do anything to coach that guy. Because I just believe in loyalty, and I would like it if you went back and talked to most of the guys that I coached at Temple and Baylor, like even if they always didn't like the things that I did, that they would feel, a sort of a closeness to me. And then maybe they would, maybe they wouldn't, but I would want that as a coach. Right. And that's how I felt about guys who coached me. And so listening to him talk, man, I was just like, his football character just rocked me. It was the first guy as a head coach of the Carolina Panthers I had a chance to talk to, and it rocked me. And I was like, then I talked to other guys, and there were a lot of other great guys, but no one ever had that same moment. I remember Marty and I walking out. We're like, well, Marty was like, we'll never get him, will we? I said, oh my goodness, no. I mean, I thought what were the chances that it would work out that we would get Derek, and it did. And so that's why, when we had a chance to take him, I was 1,000% on board, because the physical tools are there, as I had seen earlier, but there's something about his character and what he's made out of, and his football character that I'm going to tell you in all seriousness. I'm not going to say I became emotional, but it affected me, where I was like, this guy's special.